Hi, everyone, and welcome to our interview today. My name is Christine, and joining me is Ingrid. She is one of our Schoolhouse network influencers, all part of our Homeschool Influencer Network. And just to tell you a little bit more, the network shares products for the homeschooling family influencers like Ingrid, and our website, homeschoolingfinds.com, which you'll see up in the corner there, and directly with our clients. So, welcome, Ingrid. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are?
Um, my name is Ingrid. My husband and I have a large blended family. We have 9 children between the two of us.
Wow.
We have 7 boys and 2 girls. The youngest is 1, and our oldest just turned 21. So we've got like every age and stage at this point.
Full house. Full house. So, have you been homeschooling right from the get go? Like, we like to say right from birth in our house, but have you been always doing it or did you start halfway?
No, I worked full time as a family nurse practitioner, and my husband and I got married in 2014, and he asked me if you ever could, would you homeschool? And I told him, no, never. And then God changed my heart and allowed us to let me stop working, and I started homeschooling right before COVID. So we were already ready for that.
Oh, wow. Yes, and that was the same for me. I found when COVID hit, everybody was in a panic all around because I'm one of the very few ones in my circle that homeschool. And meanwhile, we were like, okay, it's life as usual because we're not affected by what's happening out there. For a little bit, we were a little bit affected, but not so much. So I can relate to that. So, have you developed over the years, a preferred homeschooling style or method?
My first year, I used a like a complete set that gave me all the instructor guides and books, and I felt like I had to have everything laid out, and I did everything that was on the list, and um, checked every box, didn't miss anything that first year, and that's what I needed to get my feet wet and figure out
Yeah.
how it went. And then years 2 and 3, I kind of figured out what worked and what didn't, and we have kind of um, got a variety of curriculums that we are using right now. Where I'm tailoring it to each child's needs rather than just one box curriculum.
Yeah, that's sort of, I mean, I don't have as many children as you do. I only have the two. But I found like even just with the two, they learn so differently. Um, the one did really well with the box curriculum, but when I thought, okay, I'm just gonna save this stuff for the next one, and then he didn't like any of it. He didn't respond to any of it. So I had to really find something completely different. And then it's like, what do you do with all of this stuff that I had here? Because you can't really use it again. So then I really started developing my own sort of curriculum, just pulling bits and pieces and doing lots of research and seeing what's out there. So I'm always a big fan of something like Homeschooling Finds and influencers like yourself because you get to point me in the right direction and, oh, look, that looks good. And like I found the other day, our new Bible curriculum, which otherwise, if I was looking up by myself, I probably wouldn't have stumbled across it. So, but yeah, definitely using what's out there and just building according to each one because yeah, what works for one doesn't work for the other. So thank goodness that you can be flexible with all of that. So maybe that was one of your challenges. So what do you see as the biggest sort of challenge in homeschooling that in general most families would face today?
I mean, for myself, it's probably having the younger children, the 1-year-old and 3-year-old, out and about wreaking havoc and chaos when I'm trying to do school with the other ones. And it changes from week to week as I hit each stage. I need to be like ahead of them to try and get different activities and different areas set up so that they can be occupied without being too disruptive to what we're trying to do.
Yep, yep. I used to take advantage of nap time. especially when they were very young. So when the younger one was napping, that's when we did most of the work. That's one tip that that I would share for me. But what's one piece of advice that you would give parents from your experience?
Um, Actually, I've got two things. One of the biggest things that I had to adjust coming from going to public school and having my older kids in public school is I really had to do a shift in my mindset. And it's not public school at home, it's educating your children at home. It's a lifestyle,
Mhm.
it's not a classroom, it's not the same thing at all. And that was really hard for me to figure out. And then if it's not working, change it. You're not married to a curriculum, and
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
just, I mean, I know cost can be a factor for some people, but if it is a struggle for you and your child, it's not worth sticking with the curriculum just because you bought it.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's hard to break that mentality of okay, school has to look like what public school like because you did you go to public school as a child?
Yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
and same with me. And so you kind of have that idea in your head, okay, well, okay, they're supposed to sit like this and they're supposed to have desks and they got to have the pen and pencil. But like now, like my kids do it on the couch, sometimes they do it on the floor, sometimes they go outside. It's like it's
Or
wherever. And but they're learning and they actually engage a little bit more. So yeah, it's so good to embrace that flexibility, and remember that you can't allow yourself to be flexible.
well,
So
there were so
yeah,
many things in public school, like you can't use pens for this. You can only use certain color pens. You can't chew gum. Like so many things. Like you just have it stuck in your head. So like as we get to each thing in the homeschooling, I'm like, oh wait, we can do it however we want.
that's the best part of it, and it kind of gives you that peace knowing that they're actually gonna enjoy it because that's the last thing that I want for them to hate school, and then you're struggling because you don't like it any more than they do, and then it's just this big chore, and then it's that's not what the whole point of homeschooling is. It's supposed to be you spending time with your family, you growing as a family, and so whatever that means, and it looks different, for every family, and maybe the whole public school setting type of thing in your home, maybe that works for you, but for most of us it's it's just whatever works, whatever. Sometimes days, specific days, you don't do any learning, but it's just because you needed that break and you do something else. You just spend the time with your family doing something else, and but you're still bonding, you're still creating memories, because yeah, they grow up so quickly. I'm sure you can attest to that. Watching your kids grow. So tell us a bit about your Instagram page, what we can find on there. I saw it going across the screen there, and we'll make sure the link is in the comments as well.
Well, healthy, holy mom life. Coming from the career of being a family nurse practitioner, I've always been very passionate about health and wellness, and I incorporate that a lot with my kids. So am constantly sharing workouts and fitness activities that you can do with your kids. And every week I give a healthy homeschooling snack that you can add into your menu, because it's always fun to try new healthy snacks and get your kids eating new things along with you.
Hmm. Yep, that's important. We're actually looking at trying to figure out some way to for us to do that together, because that's the one thing that we're lacking, the the exercise part of it and just keeping active and healthy. They're pretty good about eating healthy. Um, I've thankfully pat on the back. I taught them what to look for in terms of what's good for you and what's not good for you. But it's so important to develop a routine so that they're constantly thinking about it, because when they establish that at this young age, hopefully it remains as they grow older and you don't run into issues. So you can reach Ingrid, at that link, Healthy Holy Mom Life. Is there anything else that you wanted to encourage, um, or something that you like to say often to your followers?
Well, I mean, your kids, more so from what you teach them, they learn from what you do. Like my kids have watched me eat healthy, so now my 8-year-old, I watch him making his breakfast, and he picks the healthy choices because not because I told him to, but because he saw me do that. They see me work out, so they just know that working out and exercising is part of your day. It's not like an optional, and it's not a punishment, and it's fun, and it's just something. It's just a way of life. But same thing with reading your Bible. They don't ever see you open your Bible, so
That's
I
right.
try and make it a point not to do my quiet time when it's quiet, so that they can actually see that I'm reading my Bible through
Mm,
the busy seasons.
that's so important. Yeah, and I think I'm guilty of that too. Like I kind of go to my quiet place and I do those things, but yeah, I think I need to do that more and be out more open about it, especially now that we're doing Bible study together as a family. So thank you for that
Yeah,
reminder. And yeah, so if you want to check out Ingrid and hopefully you can follow her for more tips and advice, you can click on that link in the comments and or just check it out on the screen. And yeah, we just thanks for sharing a little bit about who you are, and we're thankful for what you do for the influencer network. And we look forward to doing more with you.